Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Yogesh Kumar. I will take your BEEE class. That means the Basic Electrical, Electronics and Communication Engineering. Especially this course is designed for the first year because it will introduce a lot of basic knowledge about the AC circuit, DC circuit, magnetic circuit, some diode, transducer sensors. So before going into the deep knowledge about the all the circuits and the basic things, first just discuss about the syllabus, which type of syllabus is defined for especially for you. Let's say first is the first unit include the DC circuit. In DC circuit we have to take care about the basic idea about the basic components, that is the resistance, capacitance and the inductors. We have to take care about the Kirchhoff law, some theorems like superposition, Norton's, and in the second unit we have to take care about the magnetic circuit. In that we have to take care about the flux, MM, electricals, like that. And the third unit is especially for the AC circuit. In that we have to take care about their average value, RMS value, their power, their series and parallel AC circuits, and so on. And the fourth unit, it is especially designed for the electronics, that is a bipolar junction transistor. In short, we can say it is a BJT. BJT, in that we have to take care about some basic concepts of the diode, rectifier circuits, and then basic idea about the transistor, their configurations and the characteristics. And the fifth unit is especially designed for the nowadays scenario, that is having the sensors and the transducer, because without sensor nowadays it is impossible to touch with the word. So in this we have to take care about some definitions about the sensors, transducer, as well as the basic requirements, the types of sensors, and then especially for the biosensors. And the last unit is application, that will cover all the units. In that we have to take care about their applications are just like a diode, transistor, and so on. In this theory course, the objective of this is nothing but understanding of DC components, understanding of active and passive components, as well as we can get the knowledge of the node, mesh, branch, loop for a different circuit network, as well as the knowledge of the different type of circuits. Now, before going into the deep knowledge of this basic electrical electronics subject, we have to get the knowledge of general physics. We have studied in the 12th, as well as the basic knowledge of the semiconductors, to get the deep knowledge of this particular subject. Yes, now we'll start the first unit, that the introduction of the DC circuits. But before going to the deep knowledge about this DC circuit, first we have to know, because already we heard about the AC and DC. So we first know what is the basic difference between the AC and the DC. In terms of the, let's suppose, current. So what is the difference between the AC current and DC currents? Let's for example, tell me which type of current you are getting in your home. Obviously it is the AC current, it's having the frequency, and DC current you are getting from just like a battery, right? So it is don't have any frequency. So it is the basic difference between the AC and DC. Let first start with that DC circuits. Circuit means you can say also it is nothing but you can say it is a network. Network is what electrical network means. If we introduce some electrical component in a circuit, is called electrical network. So it is nothing but you can say the combination of the different type of components which connected in a such a way that we'll get the output if we are providing the input. It is called the electrical network or electrical circuit. Another form of network is called, you can say, the complex. There is a simple, another form is the complex. Complex means it is having the more number of components, electrical components, just like AC and DC. This type of network can be, or circuit can be, solved by some theorems and laws, just like Kirchhoff law or theorems, right? Or you can say also it uses the superposition theorem. So now it's a third type. You can say definition is the electric circuit. Electrical circuit, or you can say the electric network, is the more or less same. Network or circuit means what? If its current is passing from one point and then complete their path and then come to the end, to the initial point without any break, then it is called the closed loop path or electric circuit, right? Now student, here you can see one basic electrical network or electric circuit. Here you can see it is the one supply, that is called a battery. From this you can, or this circuit can getting the power or current, right, in terms of voltage. First component is using the L, that is called the inductor. Second element is called as a, it is using as a bulb, that's just like a resistor. And third component is used as the capacitor. So this is, you can see the combination of electric network. If it is battery is on, then one current is passing from inductor, resistor and capacitor, and then complete their path up to this point. It start from this point and then complete this point. So we can say it is a closed loop or closed circuit, right, closed network, until unless it is, we will get the output, until unless it is the not is the open loop. If suppose there is a break point is there, so current will not move from this point to this point and complete their path. It obviously not complete their path, so it is say the open loop circuit. Now another type of circuits is divided into two parts, that is one is a unilateral and another is a bilateral. That is name given, uni means one, bi means two. Let's have the difference between the unilateral and bilateral. Unilateral means circuit, if the circuit that allows the flow of current in one direction only, or you can say the property of circuit changes with the direction of change of the supply voltage or current. So if any component that are introduced in a circuit is allowed to flow the current in one direction only, it is called the unilateral circuit. So best example is you can see the diode rectifier, because diode is a component, is having a property, it is having the work in the either forward bias or reverse bias only. We will see in the later on fourth unit this working, but the brief idea about that, diode is a component that works in the forward bias and reverse bias, especially in the forward bias, because it allows the flow in the current in the forward bias only. So forward bias means it will allow the current in the one direction only. So such type of component used in the circuit is called the unilateral circuit. And bilateral circuit, if the components allow the flow of current in the both direction, then such type of circuit introduce the bilateral circuit. The transmission line is the best example for the bilateral circuit. Here you can see the photos of unilateral and the bilateral circuit. There's a unilateral circuit, already I told you diode is the best example. It will allow the flow of current in one direction only. It is having the such type of symbol over there. One triangle shows as the p-type semiconductor material and the bar is showing the n-type semiconductor material. So it is allow the flow of current in the forward bias, and it will flow the current in this direction, clockwise direction. In the reverse bias, it will not allow to flow of current in the back side. And this is the figure that is given the transmission line circuit. It is acts as a bilateral circuit. Now next differentiation between the active and passive circuits. Active and passive circuits is depend upon the which circuit having the electromotive force, right, and which is not. If any circuit having electromotive force is called the active circuit, and any circuit having not any EMF source is called the passive circuit. So basic difference between the active circuit and the passive circuit is including the EMF or not. And then it is depend upon the which type of component that are using either active or passive circuit. In active components, what these components which require external source for their operation is called the active components, just like diode and transistor. Now here you can see some photos of the active components and passive components. I already told you that active components comes in category of the diode, transistor, SCR, silicon control rectifier, and the passive components are resistor, inductor, and capacitor. Yes, here is a very short video that gives the brief idea about the active and passive components as well as some other components that will work on an electronic circuit. Let's have a look. These are some components that are showing just like a capacitor, resistor, inductor that plays a very important role in electronic circuit. Just like a resistor, with the help of resistor we can change the resistance value. On that basis electric flow of current can change. Same funda about the capacitors. There are a lot of capacitors that are into the world that plays a very important role in electronic circuit. Individually they are nothing, but just like a pyramid, if having a brick with a single brick it can't do, but we make in a certain pattern just like it make a pyramid. Now this will create a structure. Similar way, the electronic components in single it is nothing, but if we make an arrangement in such a way, in electronic circuit can perform a lot of things, just like capacitor, inductor, and just some LEDs also shows the just like here you can see the form of such resistors that having the constitution of the just like a brick. A single brick can make one by one we can make a lot of things. So here some classification of passive and active component. Passive means resistor, inductor, capacitor, transformer. Active means some other components. What about the passive? In electronic component that respond to a flow of electrical energy and can dissipate or store energy, it is something passive. Here it is in the about the passive components. Right. In similar way we can go for the active components. Just like a brick, if you use a single brick and one by one this make a simple brick wall, just like a simple resistor. Here you can see the some form of resistor. Resistor is nothing but the flow of electrons. Suppose the capacitor, simple stored energy, electric field. Just like inductor, it also gives the stored energy in the magnetic field. And just like a transformer, which can increase or decrease the value of voltage, either it goes up and down, used to transfer electric energy by means of some similar things. Also use the fuses and relays that are used to connect or disconnect the electric circuit. Now about the active components. Generally active components is what? Generally in terms of speaking, inject power into a circuit. Means controlling and amplifying the flow of electrical current for a particular circuit. Just like a battery. Here you can say a battery, it is having two terminal as well as some battery source. Through we can get the DC supply, or we can use as a component that used to glow the LED. Now diode is nothing but it can flow the current in one direction. Transistor also signal switching device. I told you the definition of the active components. That component which needs the external source for its operation. But in passive components are those components which does not need any external source for the operation, just like a resistor, capacitor, and inductors. In last slide I showed you the photograph that. Now let's have some idea about its network, that having the node, branch, and all other others. In next slide we will see what is the definition of the node. Node is a point or junction where two or more elements are attached together. Means node is a junction where two or more than two components are attached together. Component means the resistor, capacitor, inductor, and other components also. Now what is the branch? A branch is in between the two junctions is called the branch. Now what is the loop? The definition of loop is nothing but it is nothing but the closed path in circuit where more than two meshes can be occurred is called loop, right? And what is the mesh? Mesh is a closed loop within contains no other loop is called the mesh. Let's have an example. that we understood the node, branch, loop and mesh. Suppose there is a circuit diagram. One resistance R1, one resistance R2, one resistance R3, one resistance R4, one resistance R5 and the 6 resistance R6 are connected in to form a network, right? One power supply, that is called the voltage. Now suppose there is a question how many there are nodes, branch, loops and the mesh in the circuit. Then we have to calculate that in such a manner. Nodes means any component that are connected in such a way that let's like 1 and 2 nodes, third is also node, fourth is also node, 5 is also node, 6 is also node. So total number of nodes for this particular circuit is the 6 that I have written there. And branches means 1 to 2 one branch, 2 to 3 is another branch, 3 to 4 is another branch, 4 to 5 is another branch, 5 to 6 another branch, 6 to 1 is another branch and another branch is 2 to 5. So total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 means total branch is 7. Loop is what? There is a one loop and there is another loop and then one is the complete loop. The total loop is nothing but 3. But mesh is what? There is a one mesh and there is a another mesh. So in this fashion we have to calculate the number of nodes, branch, loops and mesh. So in this all over slides we have understood the what is node, mesh, loop. There what is the active component, what is the passive component, what is the unilateral, what is the bilateral. Just about the idea about the DC components in the circuit.